Now, the other thing that you can do to make your mixes sound fuller is you can go in, and for each instrument you can go in and you can find the good spot. So let's see where the good spot is in this instrument. Okay, now what am I listening for here? I'm listening for a nice sweet spot, and you can hear when I started going up to the higher frequencies, you're going to hear some ringing there. So we certainly don't want to boost that ringing. But when I get down to around 1.2 kilohertz, there was a point where the ringing stopped. And that's usually the sweet spot that you're looking for. Bit too thick. So that's pretty good right there. And once again, you're going to go back and listen to it in the mix. So once again, I'm going to do about 2.8. You don't want to, we're not reshaping here, doing a bunch of, bunch of EQ here. And I would typically start very conservatively, maybe around 1.5 dB, and see how that sounded all together in the mix. And it might be a little too much. You can pull it back some. You might want more. For example, we can pull up this vocal. You can see why I took all this out. There's a lot here. All right, let's see. Yeah, let's pull this vocal up. You can see in this vocal, I did 20. Yeah, I did 25. I've got 2.5 dB at 2500 hertz, 2.5 kilohertz, or 2.5 K. You might see sometimes, and I pulled it up 2.5 dB to make because that was the best way for it to sit in the mix right. So I usually start, like I said, 1.5 to 2 dB, and you can go in and listen in the whole mix, because you don't make these judgments all alone. You start with the instrument sounding good by itself, then you're bringing in the whole mix, and you shape it to fit right in the mix. Now let's say you wanted to do something more drastic. Let's say, for example, you can also use EQ to shape. So let's go ahead, let's see about this high pass filter here. We're going to go ahead, we're going to turn it on. We're going to go ahead and set it at 24 dB per octave, which is what you do to take out everything below a certain frequency. And there's some neat effects that you can do here. Whoops. Let's see what we can do with this. See? And there's real neat, little effects and stuff you can do. And then conversely, you can go into here, create what's called a low shelf, add some more bass. And you can do all these neat little effects. Now, typically what I'll do is I've got so many other instruments in here, and also I've got a bass guitar. So to clean things up, yeah, that's where it is. So to clean things up, typically I'll roll off as 100 hertz to 130 hertz, 150 hertz. I'll roll off all the low end, like on my guitars and stuff, on my vocals, because you got other instruments there. But once again, you got to listen. Let's see. Let's clean this back up a little bit. And you can see in other EQs, the settings are mostly the same. You got your low shelf, high shelf, low pass filter, and a low pass filter just does the exact opposite. It takes out all the highs. Whereas a high pass filter passes out all the lows. And then you've got your Q and your frequency adjustments. And you can see, you can adjust your frequency like so. Go back to our bandpass here. And your boost. So EQs, they all have this Q, frequency, and how much gain. And then they have various different settings on on where these are to affect the shape of the EQ. And they typically always have an output right here as well. And that's really, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. That's really, as far as EQ goes, that's the whole mystery with EQ. All these frequencies are, all those are gain increases or gain reductions at certain frequencies, at certain tones. And really, a note is a combination of specific frequencies. There are actually charts out there where you can look up, say, a B flat and find out what frequency that is. You can find those online. I forget the name, but you can find those online. And folks, that is the mysterious EQ. Don't be afraid to use it. Always use your ears and listen. Experiment with EQ and listen to it in different speakers and different environments, and then you can learn, hey, if I do X, I get Y. If I do X plus Y, I get Z. And that's it. This is my typical EQ setting here. I'll find a problem area, decrease it a little bit, and I'll find a sweet spot, I'll increase it a little bit, and that's how you notch out instruments in the mix, and that's how you get each instrument to have its own place, and that's how you get each instrument to be heard, and that's how you get clarity in your mixes, mostly by these little decreases. So that's the mysterious EQ, folks. And incidentally, you can come up here in this Digirac EQ, and it's the great thing about plugins, and you can save your settings. That's invaluable. And then also in this Wave plugin, I mean, it's always here. You can save your settings, and that's in I believe in all plugins, really. And that's the great thing about using plugins and doing things in the box. So that's it. I'll stop babbling. This is Joe Ricardo. Run DeepScopeRecords.com. Be sure to visit us. There's all kinds of stuff there for you at DeepScopeRecords.com. And you can email me, deepscope@DeepScopeRecords.com, with any questions that you may have about tracking, mixing, mastering, or if you would like me to work on one of your projects, just let me know. That's about it.